Hello, queens. I'm back like I never left, period, with another client tutorial. Y'all already know I'm starting this tutorial off by cleaning my model's face, and if you watch any of my other tutorials, then she might look a little familiar to you. This is an OG model, y'all. She changed her hair color and it's so cute. But we're about to begin the makeup, and to start everything off, I'm just going to begin filling in her eyebrows, and to do so, I'm using my Nicka K eyebrow pencil, and it's in the shade black. After I've outlined both of the brows, I like to start filling them in from the back and working my way to the front. As y'all can see, I outlined one of her brows a little crooked, but it's okay because it's going to get cleaned up with concealer, but it was bothering me, so I know it was probably bothering y'all. It was getting to me when I was filming this video, but I was just like, it's okay, because once I cleaned them up, they were on fleek. As you can see now, I'm fading the front of her eyebrows, and to fade in the front, I'm using a lighter eyebrow pencil. This one is in the shade dark brown. Now that I've filled in her brows, I'm taking a thin amount of clear eyelash glue, and I'm using it like a brow gel just to lay down any type of flyaway hairs that I see. I'm just smoothing everything down with the spoolie side of my eyebrow pencil. To clean up her eyebrows, y'all, I actually decided to go in with 3 different concealer shades, and they were all from 3 different brands as well. I love all these brands. I highly recommend them. But first, I'm going in with the LA Girl Pro Concealer. Y'all already know this is like an OG concealer for any MUA, but I'm using it to clean up under her arch, and this one is in the color Fawn. This is the lightest color concealer that we will be using to clean up her eyebrows. Now I'm taking the RK by Kiss concealer, and it's in the color Toast, and I'm just using it to clean up the remaining bottom area of her eyebrows. Now that the bottom of her eyebrows is clean, I'm going to take this buffing brush that I also purchased from the beauty supply store, and I'm going to use it to blend these 2 concealers out. Last but not least, I'm going in with that Nicka K concealer in the color number 12, and I'm using it to clean up the top of her eyebrows. We now have one brow nice and clean and on fleek, so it's time to clean up the crooked side. Y'all already know I'm following the same routine to do this side. I sincerely apologize for my hair getting in the way, but y'all understand the gist of what I was doing. As you can see, we have two nice clean eyebrows. So I'm taking my Dermablend translucent powder and I'm just using it to set the brows and the concealer in place. For an eyeshadow base today, I'm going to be using my P.louise base, and it's in the shade Rumor Number 1. And I like to take a flat brush and just apply it all over my client's lids. And once I have both her lids fully covered, I'm going to be taking that same buffing brush that I used to buff out her eyebrows, and I'm just going to use it to buff out this product as well. The first eyeshadow that I'm using is the purple shade from the Juvias Zulu palette, and since I'm doing a halo eye, I'm going to start by packing this shade on the outer edge of her eye, and then I'm going to bring it all the way into the inner corner of her eye, kind of in the shape of a rainbow, if that makes sense. Me personally, I actually hate doing halo eye looks. I don't know why, it's just harder for me to do on clients, so I normally stray away from these type of eyeshadow shapes, but I wanted to challenge myself for this tutorial, so I stepped out of the box and I feel like it came out really good. But I'm making sure I take my time and try to apply this eyeshadow as precise as possible, and when doing these type of eyeshadow looks, you want to make sure you start applying it low and then build up as you go. The next eyeshadow shade that I'm taking is the pink shade from the Zulu palette, and as y'all can see, I'm taking it on this small type of detail brush and I'm using it to blend out the edges. I decided to go in with a small brush just to make sure I didn't blend it out too much, because with halo eye looks, you pretty much want them to be precise with their round shape, so you want to make sure you keep it in like this rainbow effect. Now I'm taking a blending brush with that same pink eyeshadow and I'm just using this to help me blend out the edges a little bit more. Again, y'all, I want to apologize for my biscuit head, but just know it's not a bomb tutorial if my head doesn't get a feature. Next, to draw her halo in, I'm using my e.l.f. camo concealer. This is the matte one, and it's in the shade Fair Rose. I'm taking a small synthetic flat brush, and I'm using it to try to sketch in my shape. This is the part about halo eye looks that's the hardest for me for some reason. I just feel like it's so much easier to cut the crease all the way than it is to do a halo, because you have to get it like round at the top, and then you also want it to be wide enough too. When you're doing these type of looks, you want them to be, y'all just watch. Now that I've created a pretty good shape, I'm taking a buffing brush and I'm using it to buff out the concealer. This is what I meant when I said you want it to be wide as well. I made a shape, but I'm making sure I buff that concealer out past the shape that I made. So as y'all can see, I'm getting kind of sloppy with how I'm buffing out the concealer, but it's okay because you're gonna clean it all up with eyeshadow anyway. But you want your shape to be really wide, because you're just gonna end up closing it back up with the eyeshadow. I hope this makes sense for y'all. It's kind of hard for me to explain it, but this is the best way I've found to do a halo eye. So if you struggle with these, just watch this tutorial, girl, okay? Because I'm gonna help you out. We're gonna get it together. I'm taking the purple eyeshadow from the Zulu palette and I'm just applying it to the edges to close up my halo. Now I'm taking the pink eyeshadow and I'm just applying it in front of the purple to further blend everything out. Using whatever concealer is left on my buffing brush, and I'm just applying it right into the center of my halo to open it up a little bit more. Now I'm going to be repeating the same process on the other side for anybody who missed it. Now I'm taking the Wahala palette from Juvia's place and I'm using the color Yab. It's like that salmon color right there, and I'm going to be applying this right into the center of her halo. Sorry for my camera being out of focus. It's about to focus itself very soon. But y'all, this palette was actually hers. She came in with a box of things that she had just ordered from Juvia's place that she wanted me to play with. So y'all are going to see some more Juvia's place products once we move on to her face. But as you can see, we have a nice blend, baby. Okay, now I'm taking these two glitters and I mix them together to create this beautiful concoction that I apply right in the center of her halo eye. Before I applied the glitters, I went ahead and put an adhesive on her eyes off camera, and now I'm just stamping it on, and y'all see the effect that it's giving. Like, come on now, you see me. Moving on to the face, I'm taking my Pond's moisturizer and I'm using it to moisturize her skin. I went ahead and applied a thin black line to her eyes off camera. That step is optional. I only do it because it'll help blend in the lashes better when we get to that step. But now I'm quickly pressing this moisturizer into her skin using my Real Technique sponge, and yes, it is damp. Once I have it all pressed in, I'm gonna go in with my calamine lotion and I'm applying it to the areas of her face that typically get oily the quickest. I'm going back in with my Real Technique sponge and I'm using it to really press that calamine lotion into her skin, making sure it can prevent as much oiliness or sweat that may ruin the makeup later on throughout the day. Okay, so I'm making sure I really get this into her face before I begin the foundation. for her foundation, I'm going in with these two foundation shades from Fit Me. First, I'm taking the lighter foundation and I'm working it to the inner portions of her face. Then I'm going to take the darker foundation and just apply it on the lower regions of her face. And y'all, this made the perfect blend. To blend everything together, I'm going in with my foundation brush and just pressing it all into her skin. To highlight her face, I'm going in with my LA Girl Pro Concealer, and I believe it's in the color Suede. I'm going back in with that foundation brush and I'm using it to press out the concealer just to make sure everything is as seamless as it could possibly be. Before I blend out the concealer under her eyes, I'm just going to begin to contour her face. And to contour her face, I'm using my Juvias foundation sticks in the shade Congo and Katsina. And to blend them out, I'm using the same brush that I've been using all over her face. I'm taking a little bit more of that foundation stick in the shade Katsina and I'm using it to sculpt out her nose. I applied a little bit more of the concealer under her eyes. Now I'm just blending everything together using my Real Technique sponge. Y'all, she always has to make this face every time I'm underneath her eyes. She can't just look up. She got to make this paranormal activity face, but I just love her. So I'm blending everything out. To set the highlighted areas of her face, I'm using my Fit Me pressed powder, y'all already know, and it's in the shade Toffee. Now I'm taking some of my Fenty loose powder in the shade Honey and I mixed it with my Dermablend translucent powder and I'm using it to set her highlighted areas a little bit more. I didn't mean to go in with this much powder, y'all. It just kind of happened, so I just let it ride, okay? But I'm just applying this to all the highlighted areas of her face. Now I'm taking the Juvia's Place bronzer in the color dark, and I'm going to be using this to set the contoured areas of her face. I went ahead and mixed those two shades together, and y'all, this is pigmented and it's so buttery. Like, this was maybe my favorite product that she brought for me to use. Like, out of all the products that I use in this tutorial, this one was bomb, okay? And it was the perfect shade. Moving back to the under eyes, I'm taking some black gel liner on a Q-tip and I'm using it to line her waterline. At first, I was only going to take this halfway, but then after looking at it, I just decided to take it all the way into the inner corner of her eye. That's all I did for her under eyes, y'all. I kept it real nice and simple. Now I'm taking that foundation brush and I'm using it to press in all the powder that I have sitting on her face. Moving on to lashes. So my girl started her own lash line, and I just want to show y'all this big box that she came in with. But this is what the packaging looks like. They're called Lashwoods, and I ended up showing y'all 3 different styles. This first style is original. They're the ones we're going to be going in with in today's video. This style is Honey Babe, and the last one is Cocoa Rum. Real cute. If y'all are interested in shopping with her brand, you can check the information in the description box. Make sure y'all go make a purchase to support. And as you can see, I'm taking the style original and I'm just stacking it on her eyes, and it was real cute, y'all. It was perfect, nice and thick, okay? Big blinkers, big thinkers. Moving back to her face, I'm taking this blush from Juvia's Place, and this is what the color looks like. I'm gonna be applying this right to the apples of her cheeks. This was also very pigmented. Y'all should already know anything that's coming from Juvia's Place is gonna be overflowing with pigment. So I was trying to be as light-handed with this as possible. Next, I'm gonna be highlighting with these 2 different highlighters from Juvia's Place. I don't know the shades, but I'll try to have them in the description box down below. I decided to go ahead and mix the 2 together, and I'm applying them to her face using this Real Techniques powder brush. To line her lips, I'm taking this lip liner that she came in with. I think it was from Juvia's Place too, and I'm just using it to outline her lips. It's like this pretty brown shade. Y'all already know I'm doing an ombre lip. Like, do you even have to ask at this point? Every lip that I do will always be an ombre lip, but since this is going to be an ombre lip, I'm going to outline her lips first, and then I'm going to take the lip liner and go back in and fill in the corners of her lips. For the center of her lips, I'm taking this liquid lipstick from Absolute New York, and it's in the shade Terracotta. Y'all, this used to be like my favorite shade of liquid lipstick to go in with, and then for some reason I just stopped using it. But I thought I was gonna do a matte lip for this look. I was just gonna try something different since I did a halo eye, but as y'all could tell by the beginning of the video, I ended up going with a glossy lip. So I applied this to the center of her lips, and then I had her pat her lips together just to help me blend the liquid lipstick into the liner. Now I'm taking a brush and I'm using it to help me blend out the edges, and I just wasn't feeling it, so I decided to go on top of it with a gloss. Y'all know me and my gloss, I have to have gloss. But once I finished applying the gloss, it was perfect. I ended up loving the combination and everything just came together. So after I finish her lip, that'll basically be the final look, and we'll be getting into the grand reveal, so I'm just gonna let y'all watch. Okay, you ready to see?
Yes. I feel like it. I feel like I look. Oh my god! Big blinkers, big finger.
Okay.
What? It's giving me like not fairy, not tooth fairy, loot fairy, like loot fairy.
Blink,
Where the
blink,
money
blink.
resides.
Okay. Alright queens, as y'all could tell by the reaction, this tutorial was another success. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you would like to see more client content, feel free to visit my Instagram. A link will be in the description box. Make sure to follow me while you're there. And don't forget to buy you some Lashwoods, okay? Bye bye queens.